So could you please introduce yourself, something about your background and stuff like that?
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Rory O'Connor, and I suppose I was only having this conversation with someone there recently about what the terminology is. Like Fitspo seems a bit, but like I suppose fitness professional is what I always kind of. It's something that I always say to any of my guys that I've managed over the years. Kind of is that you're not a fitness instructor, you're not a personal trainer, you're a fitness professional. You work in the fitness industry. So I suppose that's what I'd always refer to myself as. Is a fitness professional, predominantly. Sorry, my laces. Predominantly, my background is kind of growing up would be kind of sport. Rugby would have been my kind of sport, and then always kind of wanted to get into fitness in some way, shape, or form. Did a kind of a fitness instructor course, 6-month kind of certificate kind of course. That would have been 2005, I think it was, and
15 years
and
ago.
then I know, crazy. And then kind of ever since then, kind of just have worked in the fitness industry in various shapes and forms, be it kind of completely freelance group fitness instructor, being personal training, being just an instructor. And kind of over the last couple of years and where I am now is kind of like, I suppose you'd call it operations manager, but predominantly looking after the gym element of things. So predominantly looking after things like group fitness, personal training, and managing a team of other fitness professionals. So that's kind of my background.
So what kind of exercises are you actively engaged in?
Right now?
Yeah.
Right now, do you know...
Like, I mean, right now you're sitting on a chair, but I mean, these days.
These days, do you know what? I'm kind of doing. I'm doing a little bit of everything. The last kind of week and a bit, I've been doing a load of swimming. Like, thankfully, right now I've got access to my gym. So, I had an idea in my head a couple of weeks ago. I was there going, right, I wanted to think of another fitness challenge to do. Yeah. So I said I'm going to do an indoor Ironman. I said I'd do it in my gym. I'd do a swim. I'd do the cycle and the run on the treadmill. And just I couldn't publicize it because obviously we're closed and from an insurance point of view. So I decided to just get in and swim every day. And I did the swim last week. And it was 160 lengths of a 25-meter pool. So it was like 4 kilometers or 4 and a bit kilometers. So that's being specific, but outside of that, I've been kind of over the last kind of couple of months with kind of COVID, I've been doing a little bit more, just kind of focusing on things that I'm not good at. Like, so I'd be poor, like pull-ups, chin-ups, mobility, focusing in on areas that I'm not really the strongest in or my kind of weak points. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of been where my focus has been on the last while. Haven't done a bicep curl in like 3 months. It's brilliant. Like,
I know. Okay.
It's great.
What would you recommend for weight loss from point of view of nutrition and from point of view of exercise?
I think it's such a vast field, certainly nutrition. It's, I think, trial and error. That's one of the biggest things I always say to people is that, what someone does down the road might work for them and it might not work for you, but to try it out. That everyone will always say, oh, I've tried everything. No, you haven't tried everything. If you tried everything, you would have found something. So I think that's the number one thing, is just to be able to try out different things and find something that you're going to do consistently. That might be intermittent fasting. That might be having a breakfast, not having a breakfast. It might be, eating less during the week and having, rewarding yourself at the weekend. I think just landing on something, that's going to work, because I always kind of think we're human nature. We're quite predominantly lazy kind of people as a whole. That yes. we want the convenient, we want the quick fix. So I think if you can find something that's okay, because you can't kind of take, if I think of my, say my sister, she has 5 kids. If she's getting them all ready for school in the morning, I can't turn around to her and say, listen, you need a white or egg white omelette with kale and spinach. It's not going to happen. Maybe you can just have something better than what you're currently doing, and making those kind of small wins. And then I suppose in terms of exercise, again, it kind of falls into that kind of trap as well. That try out different things. Maybe it could be spinning. Maybe it could be doing yoga. Maybe it could be doing Zumba. Just do something, because we all know ultimately what weight loss or fat loss will come in is going to be through exercising more and eating less. And where you land on how you land on that is up to you. So it might be going, I'm eating a little bit less and I'm doing Zumba 3 times a week. At the end of the week, if on Sunday you look at the scales or you get your calipers done and you're down, brilliant. Now, obviously, like everything, that will only last for a certain period of time. But then it's good to kind of go, okay, listen, for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do spinning 3 times a week and eating a little bit less, or I'm going to do one-to-one personal training. So I think, again, it's experiment a lot, find the things that kind of you enjoy and that you're willing to do, because if you're willing to do them, it's not a hassle to do them. Then it's part of your, we brush our teeth, we shower every day, you do X, Y, and Z to help your weight loss every day. It doesn't become a chore. So I think that's the main thing. Experiment and land on the things that work for you.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with that. Exactly. You said it really well. Do you have some tips on muscle building? Again, it could be nutrition, it could be exercise. What would work for you, for example? What do you see?
I think it's something I always kind of remember back in the day of. Funny enough, it's funny how things come kind of full circle. That there's a guy that I worked with in Total Fitness up in Sandyford back in kind of 2009, and now we're working together again. He had been over in the UK, but I always remember he struggled to kind of put on weight, and he was always like kind of putting things like olive oil into his protein shakes just to get calories. And I think back to
good.
Yeah. And I think back to when I used to coach in a school. I used to do kind of strength and conditioning for kind of rugby teams, and you'd have a lot of 15, 16, 17-year-old boys that wanted to put on weight, and they'd always be saying, "Oh, this, it's just I'm not getting big enough, or I'm trying everything." I'm like, well, you're not eating right now, and it comes down to the line. There's no such thing as a hard gainer, only an under eater, and I suppose it's consistency, that you could argue kind of putting on kind of a little bit of size is probably harder than kind of weight loss, because you might have someone that's maybe predominantly not a very big person if they kind of are struggling to put on weight. So the key with that is consistency. So, it's getting up, making sure that you're getting, not guessing, I'm eating loads. Well, you're probably not. If you were eating loads and you were training loads,
how many grams, how many calories?
Yeah. It's measuring. People will always be vague. Oh, I'm eating loads at the moment. Okay, well, what's loads? Oh, well, I ate a lot yesterday. That's you're guessing. And especially with kind of, if people are struggling to kind of put on weight, probably genetically they're predetermined to struggle to put on weight. So they probably have to work harder than anyone else to put on weight. For me, I'm naturally a kind of a biggish kind of guy. I would have played prop in school, so I'm naturally kind of the fatty in the scrum. So I was just genetically, that's my predisposition. But for guys that are kind of struggling, it's the consistency more so than anything. I think just know that at the end of the week that you've done everything and you've written it down, and trust the process.
Yeah, and I think, exactly the same would apply for that weight loss. It's like people say so vaguely, yeah, I'm eating all right, I'm eating good, and then when we start analyzing, I'm realizing, okay, they starting to eat a lot of carbohydrates during the day, and then their protein intake it's on bare minimum, while the carbohydrates are in quite high amount.
Yeah.
So basically that on its own will have a fat storing effect.
Yeah, and it's funny, it's only something I've kind of been doing kind of around since the start of the year. I met up with Chris Lowe, and I was chatting to Chris just about kind of nutrition. And do you know what got me? Like I kind of sit in around 100 kilos. You know, sometimes a little bit more. Like I've been up to 105. I'm down to kind of 95, but generally I sit around 100. And I was saying, listen, I want to just get down a little bit, but I don't want to weigh my food. I don't want to take. But just writing it down. I hadn't written down what I had eaten in a long time. And it's only when you look back at it at the end of the day or at the end of a week and you see, wow, like, you know, I can kind of see that day I didn't really exercise that much and I ate a lot.
50 euro worth food.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's there kind of going, look, that day I didn't train or I didn't exercise apart from maybe walking around and work. And look at everything I ate. I go, it's you know, you don't need to be a scientist to figure out I ate excess.
Yes,
you know, that's it.
Yes. I think some people are more aware of it, and some people are a little bit more in denial. I mean, like lots of people would have something like a stress eating, emotional eating, boredom eating. You know, they're just basically bored and just like eating. Like it's a habit already to be kind of satisfying by consuming food.
Yeah, like it is such an emotional thing, and it does and you know, again, that whole experimenting and things that work for different people. What worked for me was just it made me consciously think, okay, why am I going downstairs to the kitchen to get food? Am I actually hungry? You know, I knew that I'd have to write this down in my phone that I'd eaten this, and it made me kind of think, well, I'm actually not hungry, you know. So just that and that's so simple. It's just the notes in your phone, write down. Like, you know, it's interesting.
And this is actually a really good point. I would just add on this. I think that's a really good idea. When you know, for example, now during the COVID-19, we're at home more often. I'm actually, to be honest, I put on weight. My stomach feels much more flabby. I don't exercise as much. I sit way more in front of computer, watching YouTube, playing games. And you know, sometimes, you know, like there's a temptation. My wife makes homemade, cakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just realized, wow, I have to change stuff. But then, you know, you are like, okay, I ate 2 hours ago, and that should be like good 500-600 calories. You know, quality protein. I shouldn't be hungry. If I want to lose weight, I should be a little hungry right now and wait another maybe 2 more hours before I eat next meal. So I don't have to eat another meal before sleep.
Yeah.
So I think you have to then be a little bit smart and say, look, if I want to lose weight, then I have to plan it better. I have to really discipline myself. And even if I have temptation to eat, I don't push my meal 2 hours earlier, because it will leave you hungry to go sleep. So you have a higher chance you're going to eat more before sleep. So I just figured out that one on myself just recently. Yeah. It's
interesting, like, you know, and again, that whole experimenting with things, like, you know, I've tried, you know, to create a deficit in the day. And me personally, I find if I don't eat in the morning time, I end up being hungrier throughout the day, or I feel when I go to have that breakfast at 12 or 1 o'clock in the day, I end up eating more and more than I would normally have, you know. But I know for some people, they won't have their first meal until 12 or 1. They find that works for them. Yes. It creates a deficit in the day. But me, I find I make poor choices. So, but it's a great thing to experiment and see. And then I know now, listen, that doesn't really work for me. So, you know, I go try something different, you know. That's experiment.
Yeah. I like the way you say it. It's obviously, you know, once you start understanding your own psyche and your own body, and you know, I think it all have to fit into the lifestyle. So a lot of good points. Okay, I got another question for you. Supplements, anything that would you find good for muscle building or for athletic performance, or even for weight loss when you were experimenting with diets? Is there any supplements you would recommend, and if yes, why?
Okay, things that I'll always have. I think I always tend to go with a multivit. I always kind of use a multivitamin, kind of, because I kind of feel
for energy.
You know, I kind of feel it's there. I'm not going to kind of go, okay, well, I've had my multivitamin, I don't need to eat X, Y, and Z during the day. But I know I can kind of go, if I don't eat X, Y, and Z during the day, I've had that multivitamin. It covers my bases.
Yeah. It's insurance, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's that kind of insurance policy. I'll take fish oils. I tend to have kind of fish oils. I have I'll have a whey protein. My breakfast pretty much every day without fail is porridge, whey protein, and berries.
Okay.
I think it gives me. I know we all have a protein kind of quantity that we all need to have throughout today. We know that. We know protein, the benefits of protein.
Or grow them.
We know. We know that it has to be taken in, and how much you need to take in again will depend on your goal, be it weight loss or
and
muscle gain.
Well.
Yeah, you need to have so for me, I know, right, I've gotten X amount of protein in first thing in the morning, and I'm happy with that. And then throughout the day, I'll kind of I'll always kind of say to people about that. Supplements are there to complement a good diet, not compensate for a poor one.
Yes.
And absolutely, we can go on about essential kind of supplements and stuff like that. But the reality is it's not as if people are kind of going, I'm having, supplements and that means I can eat crap throughout the day. A lot of people are eating poorly. So it's not that you're going to tell your clients to, flog them supplements. I get that. But if you deal with people that are, say, looking for weight loss, the chances are they're eating very poorly, which is why they're needing to lose weight. So if you're advising them to have protein, you're probably advising them something better than they're currently doing, and because I think supplements can be quite demonized, you don't, but listen, if Mary swaps, I don't know, you see all these infographics, like a Snickers will be X amount of calories and a protein bar might be, slightly more calories. Yeah, but throughout the day, if we can make them having better choices, be it supplements, be it protein, be it whatever it might be, if they get around the idea of that I'm going to start swapping out the poor choices and replace it with a better choice.
Yeah.
They're going to get greater results. We know that, and that's what a lot of it is that people are not getting results because they're making poor choices. So if we can guide them towards a better choice, be it whatever creatine, protein, whatever kind of supplement it is, that's going to get them to a better place quicker. And that's what supplements are there for, to be a convenient way. And as we spoke about earlier, is that we want the convenience.
Yes.
If people have kids, they have a busy lifestyle. Yeah, you're not going to ask your client or your person to open up a can of tuna in the office. They're not going to grill 4 chicken breasts. Listen, if you can have a protein shake or a protein bar, it's a convenient way of them getting their protein supplement.
Absolutely. Well, eventually, at the end of the day, protein supplement comes way cheaper. Like it used to be.
Hugely.
Whey protein used to be byproduct of cottage cheese production. So basically that whey part was thrown away.
Yeah.
And then they realized that it has the highest amount of leucine, which is the most muscle building amino acid. So they realized that what they were throwing away is such a good value. It's convenient.
Yeah. It's incredible the way these things just kind of happen like that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's funny.
Absolutely. So since you are doing some marathons, and I've seen on your social media, you're running and like it's something recent. Is it like maybe a year or two you got into some sort of marathons? Would you have any tips for people? First, please tell us something about your marathon or endurance experience, and then how would you help someone to prepare for one, please?
It's funny. I bought a new pair of runners. Actually, look there we go. Look, new pair of runners there.
Yep.
I got a pair of runners, like Asics. I think it was about 9 years ago. I think it was 9. I think maybe more, because I worked in a club that had a running track, a swimming pool, and then had like kind of bikes. So we used to do some indoor triathlons, and I remember I bought. And when that gym closed down, and I never ran. And then I think about flash forward to about 2 years ago, 2018, it would have been about May or June 2018. Myself and a couple of friends signed up to the Dublin Marathon, which was taking place in October 2018. Yes. Mm-hmm. And yeah, no real endurance kind of background whatsoever.
With Adam,
With Adam, Adam and a good friend of mine, Elaine Cahill, as well. Mm-hmm. And none of us were, quote unquote runners, and
you just did it.
So we just did it, and again, it's I didn't follow any kind of running plan. I didn't.
You just jumped into it. You just went to run it, yeah.
Absolutely, but that's I kind of think. It's the kind of phrase, be naive enough to start and stubborn enough to finish. And for me, it was no one really knows what it's going to be like until you kind of do it. So I kind of went like that summer. I kind of did a few kind of runs, and but like I think coming up to it, I'd done maybe a half distance twice maybe, and I think the 6 weeks leading up to the marathon I didn't run at all. It was just it was September in a gym and it was busy, but and it's something that Ricky and I kind of speak about that. I'm coming from a different background. I'm doing some group fitness classes, so maybe I mightn't be running specifically. I'm staying fit and I'm staying healthy and I'm exercising, and that will carry over.
Absolutely. Crossover training.
Yeah. Now, again, the specificity of it is that when I'm going in there and when I was going in for the marathon, I didn't have a clue what kind of time it was going to take. But I knew I wasn't in a position to kind of say, I want to get under 4, I want to get this, because I haven't done enough training.
You want to be just able to finish it, yeah?
I just want to be able to do it. And how that correlates to a lot of kind of with the weight loss, conversation is that obviously, yeah, look, if I want to lose weight, I've got to be somewhat conscious about how much I'm eating and how much I'm exercising. But if I want to be 4 or 5% body fat, then I've got to literally write down every gram, weigh out my food. But I don't want to do that. Likewise with the marathon, I just want to do the marathon. If I want to start setting a record and get under 3 hours, then I'm going to have to make sure that I'm training specifically for, to improve my endurance. But yes, for me, it was just to be able to kind of do it, and I like doing it without the pressure of having to perform, so to speak.
Yeah, just for fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think people stress themselves doing things for like reaching certain numbers, and it's like, okay, why do you do it? Do you want to run just for the fun of running, or do you want to be stressing that you're failing to reach certain goals that you just out of nowhere picked to do?
Yeah, like
a self-punishment, basically.
Yeah, like that. And it's so funny how so much of it is massively kind of mental. And because I think it was my fifth marathon. I think I did a marathon in Scotland last November, and
to see a Ricky,
the marathon was in Scotland on the Sunday. On the Friday,
that's Rory's typical holidays, going to do a marathon in Scotland.
Yeah. The Friday night, I was at an event, and I got absolutely hammered. I was so drunk on the Friday night, and I woke up the next morning, drove to the airport, and I was still probably a little bit maybe over the limit. Like I was still drunk, but I got up and I ran the fastest marathon I'd ran on the Sunday.
Wow.
And it's all mental, but I know if it had taken me, like I think it was 4 hours 10 minutes I did it in, if I'd done it in 4.5 hours or I did it in 5 hours, I'm not in a position to kind of say, oh well, I should have done better, because I didn't train specifically to do better. I just did it, and that was the time that it took me.
So basically, you recommend people who want to start doing marathons, just don't talk about it, get the runners on, and just start running.
Yeah,
for fun.
That's it. Like, because you can overanalyze it so much, and I remember on the starting line for the Dublin Marathon the first time, someone goes, "Oh, do you have your gels with you?" And I was thinking, what gel? So I'd never taken a carbohydrate gel, and I was there kind of going, and that's where almost the placebo effect of food and supplements kind of creep in, and the fact that, well, what if I have gels and then I lose them on the run? Does that mean then I don't have a
placebo.
Good? Yeah, it's like it's pre-workout. I take pre-workouts. I would.
Like with caffeine?
I did something I didn't mention. Yeah, I'd take kind of caffeine, but it's that kind of thing.
It helps. It gets you the focus and energy to do it.
Yeah,
and you can endure a little more pain, and the lactic acid somehow you are able to push beyond certain thresholds. So there's evidence that caffeine actually is one of the very effective for any cardiovascular training.
And such a simple one as well, and it doesn't have to be like. So for me, it's a caffeine supplement. It's like I'll take it in the morning, or whenever I'm going to kind of go training. But I wouldn't take it all the time, because I like to be able to kind of go, okay, I want to go and train, and then be able to know, okay, well, I could have trained better a little bit there if I had taken kind of my caffeine. But it shouldn't be that be all and end all of, I had a good workout, had a bad workout because I did or did not take my caffeine supplement.
Well, then you come to dependency on it and addiction and certain form of resistance to it. So like with anything, that it becomes like a drug that people start abusing, and then it's become ineffective, and you feel the effect of being constantly drained. Adrenal glands will burn out from overstimulation. So I think everything has to be balanced as well, not to use it for every workout, because then, as you say, you don't use it and you feel like, wow, I feel bad. I can't do this, So that's dangerous.
I can't lift that, or I can't run because I didn't take my caffeine, and
which is desperate when you think about it.
Yeah.
So the recommendation is to be careful not to abuse supplements like caffeine, for example.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to mention something, because I used to do marathons on a mountain bike. We did Baliora 60 kilometers, a lot of climbs. I did a Wicklow Way on my bike. But I remember once I was going for a smaller race. It was maybe 3 hours, very hilly, muddy. And I was just there before the race, sitting in my car, mountain bike, hooked behind my car. And I'm eating bars and drinking juice. And I was thinking, wow, it's going to be such a tough race. I'm with these elite guys here. And I need the energy. And I was just like, I drank so much juice. I ate so many bars before the race that on the first start, straight up to the hill, I almost puked. I had to stop because I would puke. So I was mentally basically overdoing my nutrition intake.
Yeah.
Such a mental thing.
Yeah, and I suppose
did it ever happen to you?
Like there's times that like I've gotten it completely wrong, and I think it was the Dublin half marathon, which was in the Phoenix Park. I think it was last September, maybe. I think it might have been
2019.
I think it was, and I remember I'd say about 20 minutes in, I was there. No, I've got it all wrong, and I just felt I could just feel my breakfast in my stomach, and but these are the kind of things that it's good to try out, and I wanted to try something different. I think I'd eaten just a little bit. I felt hungrier that morning. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember going, no, I've got this all wrong. And I was like, right, another hour and a half of kind of running around with this. But, again, like these are the things that, whatever challenge you take on, be it a weight loss goal or be it a kind of a fat loss goal or a muscle building goal, it's not going to be, it's not going to be that kind of straight line from Perfect. Here you are and here's your goal and you get there. You're going to fuck things up. You're going to do things well. You're going to do things badly.
And you learn from it.
Learn from it. Go, why didn't that work for me? Okay, why did that work for me? Brilliant. I know now the next time I go to do that, I know that will help me. That won't help me. So
that's called life wisdom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Learning from your mistakes and improving and making things better. Yeah. Rory, what do you think about the cheat meals and treats?
Cheat meal, yeah. I suppose I'm a big fan of I think I don't want to say reward yourself because we're not dogs. We're not kind of oh, here's a little treat for you,
Yeah.
But I do think it should be again, human nature naturally is there's going to be temptation. We kind of want things, so I think it's again it'll be experimenting a little bit. So I know some people that will eat clean Monday to Saturday and then they'll gorge on a Sunday. For me, I like to be able to have that balance throughout the week so that, if I call around and, to my parents and we're having dinner and there's, apple pie and ice cream, I don't want to be the person that will turn around and say, no, I don't want that because, it doesn't fit my macros or anything. I think and that's why I think for me, especially, it's important from a social element to certainly food and drink is obviously a massive social thing.
Yeah.
When we were allowed to socialize, we're not allowed at the moment, obviously, but
secretly.
Yeah. So I think, as you mentioned earlier, a little bit of planning goes a huge amount of way. So if I know for myself on a Sunday, my sister has lots of small kids, and we go to my parents' house every Sunday for a roast dinner. I know my dad will want to have a beer with me. I know my mom will have a roast dinner with loads of potatoes, loads of gravy, and I know there'll be dessert. So I know every Sunday that's going to be a lot of calories in that day. So on that day, I might increase my exercise a little bit, or I might eat a smaller breakfast that day. But I think it's I never want to be, and I suppose again it's very goal specific. If I want to be 5%, if I want to be kind of 5% body fat, I've got to be far more strict. But if the goal is I just want to be healthy, I want to lose a little bit of weight, and maintain, it's just allow those kind of moments. Reward yourself. I think reward yourself for the hard work. Certainly, if you're on a weight loss goal or on a weight gaining goal, you're certainly going to be increasing your amount of exercise that you're doing. So it's important to be able to say, I've done well this week. That doesn't mean go have 8 beers, 4 pizzas, and a tub of Ben and Jerry's.
Yes.
But it does mean, because if you chat to people, it's, oh, why am I losing weight? I was great Monday to Sunday. Yeah, but Saturday and Sunday you were absolutely awful. So
triple the intake of calories.
It's why would I saving any money? I didn't spend anything. Yeah, but you spent 600 quid on Saturday night. So I think it's just looking ahead and planning it. But like this, I always I love. I think we all kind of love food. Like as you say, if someone comes round or someone has cakes and or teas and biscuits and stuff like that. I think I do like to be able to sit down and have a cup of tea and a biscuit with someone if I'm in that kind of social element. Yeah. So it's just again, okay, well, just know in your head where can you make it, or where do you need to make this up throughout the week? Okay, tomorrow I might need to eat a little bit less because tonight I've done this.
Yes.
I might need to, or as we said, I'm going out on Saturday night, so I might just eat a little less on Saturday and increase my walking or my exercise on Saturday. Perfect. It's nothing drastic, nothing major changes. Just make small little changes on that day or up towards that day.
What your members in your club wants the most? Is it the gym itself? Is it classes? Is it personal trainings? Is it nutrition advices?
It's an interesting club. So I'm here kind of just over kind of 18 months, just over a year and a half. Like it feels weird, like that's that fast. But I would have came on kind of before that as well, kind of just on a freelance basis without kind of working here. I was coming in and teaching some classes, and then came on board kind of at a later stage into my current kind of role. And it's a club. It's here 40 years, so it's hugely established, and it's a not-for-profit organization. So it's quite
the name of the club.
Yeah. So it's a club called Sportsco, and it originally was kind of a benefit in kind for the employees of ESB. So it would have been like kind of a social club, and people would have came here to play, badminton or to play squash, basketball, etc. Use the swimming pool. And then over the course of the last kind of 20 years, it became a kind of commercial gym, but it still is a not-for-profit entity. So it's quite different to anywhere I've ever kind of worked before. It's very much, we've always done it that way, which it's, can be frustrating at times, but it's also quite nice that there is that far more of a community and family feel than anywhere I've ever worked before, because you do have people that have grown up, say, in the area or have been here that have done swimming lessons as a child and became a member, they're teenagers, and they're still there, so there is, a lot of elements to that. So it's such a diverse kind of range of kind of what people kind of want. And I suppose my role, now is kind of just to bring it on into more of a kind of like a private kind of feeling to it. So like that we have a huge amount of people in the area that work for high-end companies. We have a huge amount of people that work for Google, Facebook in the area. So when they come in, they're expecting high-end quality services. So we're surrounded by a lot of premium, more expensive clubs than we offer. So it's just because there's a gym up the road that maybe €250 a month and we're €60-70 a month doesn't mean we shouldn't offer as close to that the services that they offer. So I suppose there's a lot of changing, just a little bit of a culture, but harnessing the good elements and just bringing on and layering on the kind of almost professionalism and a little bit of premium element of things from other gyms and bringing that into here.
What do you think most of the members in your club struggle with?
Again, kind of it's. Because of that, say, almost community feel, there's a lot of people that they probably just need that little bit of specific guidance in terms of things. So you might have people that I kind of see there's a lot of people similar to, say, my mom. My mom would be in her 70s. She plays golf. She does aqua aerobics, once or twice a week. And my mom would want to lose a little bit of weight. But my mom's not going to weigh out her food. She's not going to count her macros. And I see there's a lot of huge amount of members here similar to that we'd have similar to like in Westwood, is it Young at Heart? We'd have something similar, yes. Active for Life. So obviously these people they're trained to be healthy, but they're not going to be. They don't want to know the ins and outs and the small percentages. But how can you make sure that Mary or Joan, who's coming 3 times a week, how can you just make sure that they can do some things a little bit better and get a little bit fitter, a little bit stronger? So that might be, chatting to someone who's never used the resistance machines before and just saying, well, listen, maybe just, once or twice a week before you do your aqua aerobics, come up and do 20 minutes of resistance or 20 minutes of flexibility, and that's just some little change to their kind of week to week.
A bit of education from part of trainers and management to make that available for people that help.
Yeah. So like, and then certainly in terms of kind of group fitness, a lot of them would never have done anything like Pilates or yoga before, and they're now coming into kind of body balance, and explains to them that listen, I struggle with body balance. I struggle with mobility and flexibility. But I know I'm going to get better the more I do it, every time I do it. So it might be, or it might be explaining to, a member who has to pick up their kind of grandkids. Listen, well, if you can bend down and pick up that 5 kilo, 10 kilo weight plate in any kind of a class or a functional class or a body pump class, that's going to make sure that when you go to pick up your grandkids, that's going to be far easier because you're now in a stronger position.
And safer as well for them not to get injured by doing that. Yeah.
And then for kind of a lot of the members that, as we kind of said, like you mentioned earlier, that, sitting at a desk a lot, huge amount of people around the area that are working in a tech, working at laptops throughout the day.
Financial companies there around your area.
So what's for them, they might be working, they might be working late hours at, come in at 8 or 9 o'clock, and we're quite busy at that kind of time because people have been sitting at the desk. Yeah. So, and again, maybe you want to come in and you want to do some HIIT training because you want to smash it, but maybe doing HIIT training or high intensity training at 9 o'clock at night might not be the best thing for you. Maybe you just need to come in and do some mobility today because,
yoga,
and then, maybe it might just be, and that kind of education, I suppose, of what's going to be the best thing specifically for them.
Absolutely. Okay, now the last final question would be, how do you see the gyms? What changes do you think will happen now when we are in the phase of reopening the gyms soon? Or maybe you can tell me how soon, but what do you think, since you're in the management, what kind of changes you see will have to happen for gyms and fitness studios around the country?
Yeah, so obviously there were some kind of announcements kind of yesterday, so kind of gyms were obviously originally scheduled for August 10th. That now is coming forward to July 20th, and I suppose and it's funny, like it's unprecedented. That's the word that everyone's saying. These are unprecedented times, and I think there's so much evolving, that will it be 2 meters? Will it be 1.5 meters? So these things are always kind of changing. I suppose the thing that is going to be a constant, no matter where you go, is going to be that kind of social distancing. So, group fitness on the gym floor, increased kind of distance, being aware of it. And I think there's a lot of things that we were saying here, kind of like as a management team, of reinforcing just good behavior. So, look, put my hand up. Yeah, put my hand up. I go to train in the gym. I'll forget my towel. I would have never thought about it much before. And it's not that you're kind of, bad hygiene, but it's just reinforcing good techniques. So, like, just make sure, you wipe down your stuff, more frequently after your usage. That how many times have we used the bench in a gym and we just, there's no spray around or there's no towel around. It's all right. And you just move on. So I think there's a lot of good things that can come out of it. Like, obviously, the bad things that will come out is, we know from teaching kind of group fitness classes that if you're not going to be able to be on top of each other, you're going to have reduced numbers in classes. Or as a personal trainer, sometimes you do need to, physically just, okay, listen, I just need you to lift your chest, or you need to kind of just, show someone or, move someone into a correct position. So I think
when you stretch someone like a PT, when you stretch like a PT, you grab the leg, you stretch their leg, So how do you see that all of those kind of going into personal trainings, for example?
They're things that are going to be kind of vastly kind of different. They're going to be kind of. I think they're the challenges that are going to be there. And until obviously say like, a kind of a vaccine comes in, those challenges are going to remain. I think the good things is going to be, I think, a lot of efficiency in the gym that, most gyms will probably have some kind of booking mechanism now that, you have to book in, and, that if you've got an hour slot to train in the gym, I know myself.
You'd be more effective.
I know myself. Yeah, exactly. Like there's times when I always look, sometimes like if I'm going into, I train in FlyFit, and sometimes when I go into FlyFit, I'll take a quick video or a photo when I walk into the gym, and then I look at it when I'm leaving and I go, wow, that was an hour and a half ago. I didn't need to train for an hour and a half, or, so just kind of thing of like, if I'm going in now or members are going in, this is the time that I have to book in, or I have to book in for that class, or I have to book in for that slot to train in the gym. I've got to make sure that I'm not going to be sitting there sending a text, being on Instagram, chatting to my friend. I know I need to plan out. I've got an hour to train. you know, and the good things from that will be maybe people will be booking in for kind of more programs, seeking more advice of what's the best that I can do in this hour period or this 45-minute slot that I have, you know, and from personal trainers. I think that's a good thing, because now you're able to give out advice that's going to make people's workouts more efficient. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, like I think operationally there's going to be it's a minefield for kind of stuff, but I think, you know what, I think from gyms it's not going to be that difficult for gyms, because, you know, if you'd said to any of us 3 months ago, 4 months ago, you have to queue to go into Tesco, we would have laughed at you. Yeah. So the whole world is having to adapt behavior. So if part of that behavior changes now, that people have to book in to go to the gym or they have to wipe down their stuff, I think people will do it now. You know, I think people aren't going to, there's not going to be a kind of an issue with, you know, it's almost now everyone will be wiping down their equipment. And if you don't, you're the one that's going to be kind of looked at twice.
You will be reported.
Yeah. You know, so I do think, and I think we have to look at the positives of a lot of this kind of stuff, because, you know, it's been so much negativity for the last couple of months. Yeah. It's important to look at the positives going forward. How can we do this?
Good point. Rory, where can our viewers find you? Social media? Yeah, or your club, or your gym?
Yeah, so my gym itself is Sportsco, and that is down in Ringsend, so kind of close to kind of Sandymount, Pier Street, Ballsbridge, that kind of area.
In Dublin.
In Dublin, yeah, I should have said. Yeah.
In Ireland,
specifically Dublin, Ireland. I went too narrow there, didn't I? Dublin, Ireland. And then for people that want to kind of find me on kind of social media, it's Rory JS O'Connor. That's on Instagram. So that's probably the best place to kind of find me. And then it's just Rory O'Connor on kind of Facebook. I don't really do LinkedIn or Twitter. I need to figure them out a little bit, but Instagram probably is the best place to kind of get me on.
Okay. All right. So Rory, thank you very much. Thank you for interesting conversation.
Thanks for having me, Otto. Great to catch up. Great to chat to you.
Yes. And hopefully talk to you soon again.
Yeah, please God, mate. All right.